Pleased to welcome in our next guest on the show today. He is the head coach of the national champion Syracuse Orange men's soccer team, and fresh back from the White House earlier this week as we welcome in Ian McIntyre. Mac, always good to be with you here today.
Good afternoon, Brian. How you doing?
Doing well. I don't think my week was maybe quite as exciting as yours, getting to go down to D.C. and check out the White House. Well, what was that whole experience like for you and the boys this week?
The rest of the week is kind of pretty dull in comparison when you start off on a Monday morning at the White House. So absolutely. But it was pretty surreal, kind of one of those pinch me moments, and to celebrate it with our team, and I got to take my wife and daughter down as well. So it's a very special couple of days.
So, we see some of the pictures and that, but I know you can't really show everything you get to do down there. Did you get a tour of the building? What kind of stuff did they do for you while you were down there?
A couple of times I was told not to go in certain areas. So we got stopped a couple of places, but it was great. We got to go into the Capitol building and to be outside of the White House, and Noah Singelman and myself had a couple of interviews, so we got to kind of see the Oval Office a little bit, and as I said, anytime we wandered in the wrong direction, there was someone quickly there to redirect us.
I'll say this, Mac. I was there one of the last times the lacrosse team won the national championship, covering the event. That is the only place that I've ever been, I feel, Mac, where that I listen to stuff like that, where you actually ask permission, right? I think it was the snipers on the roof, which maybe kept me in line.
They absolutely, if they've got a little microphone in their ear, and then they've got some hardware they're carrying, and they say something, we very quickly followed direction.
Yeah, I felt that to be the wisest course of events from the one time I've gotten to do anything like that. What was it like to get most of the guys back together? You win the title, everyone kind of goes their separate ways a little bit, and a lot of guys are off playing pro and all that. What was it like to get the group back together, to have most of them in one place?
Yeah, that was probably the coolest part to get. We had guys flying in from England, Switzerland, Germany, from across the states as well. So to see Nate Opoku just finished up his season, Russell Shealy came up, who's still competing. A couple of guys weren't released by their club. So Levy at the last moment, he's had a run with Vancouver's first team, so he couldn't join us. But Christian Curdy came down from Canada, and we had probably about 80-85% of the team. So that was a really special way to kind of wrap up, and it just so happened it was 6 months to the day when we're at the White House from our national championship game. So terrific to spend a little bit more time with the guys.
Yeah, that's always cool, because you know that, Mac. Guys come back over the years, and you see guys here and there, but you've got so many guys all over the world playing it. It's got to be hard to get that many in one place at one time.
And this is realistically, for us to get 25, 26 guys back in the future, we recognized it was kind of lightning in a bottle, and the guys wanted to be there, and it was a good excuse. And it look straight away, you get the group back together, and it's like you're on the training fields at Hookway, or you're at the soccer stadium, or you're traveling. The same guys, and it very quickly did the group get back together.
Okay, so you said it was 6 months to the day on Monday. So here we are, a half a year removed from winning the national title. What has changed about your job here in the last 6 months? Is it the same thing, or because of the national championship, are you, I don't know if approaching it a different way is the right way, but do you have to handle things differently because of everything that's happened in the last 6 months?
No differences at Wegmans, the same forms, same line, picking up coffees, and
you don't get the express lane?
Yeah, it's I think I'm getting double charged, but it's been awesome in our community, on campus. It's really still to see that, and hear the stories about everyone who kind of went on the journey with us. Look, from a coaching perspective, we talked about this right afterwards. We too quickly look to what's happening next, but it has been I've enjoyed reliving and enjoying the moment with our community, our alumni, and everyone here on campus. So it's still a lot of fun, and it's right behind me is the national championship trophy, and so I enjoy. It's got a lot more. It's a little bit more dinged up. It's got a lot more fingerprints. There's been a lot of selfies with it from a lot of people around our program and around the community, and I think that's been very special, Brian. It's not our trophy. It's our fans' trophy. It's our community's trophy, and to try to get it in the hands of as many people as possible.
Yeah, you get a few dents in it. You got some stories, right? That's better than nobody caring, right? Like if it was just there and nobody touched the thing, it wouldn't be nearly as fun.
Yes, it's certainly. I think the trophy has enjoyed the last 6 months as well.
Well, the trophy gets to go to all the parties and all the fun stuff.
I think so. The trophy's got more stories than the head coach, certainly.
Probably good that it can't tell them. Yeah. I would imagine for the future of everybody involved. You got to take the team to England. What was it now? About 6 some odd weeks ago. What was that experience like? Getting them to bring them over the pond.
Amazing. What cliches and not enough superlatives to explain to everyone, and you get and we were able to bring in 4 of our new guys, which was great, that graduated. Okay. So it was good to have so it was a celebration of the year, but it was also, we had some work to do, and we got to play against 4 Premier League U21 teams in their facilities. We also had another training session with a Premier League team. Then got to take the whole team to a Premier League game in watching Leicester against my Liverpool. So we were in the away end with the crazy Liverpool fans that sang for 90 minutes, didn't sit down once. And then we had the Champions League semi-final, probably the one, if not the biggest soccer match of the year, a Champions League semi-final with Manchester City, who went on last week to win the Champions League. But for them to play against Real Madrid, just the pageantry and being in Manchester to see all the Real Madrid supporters coming over from Spain, to really immerse our team in a real soccer, a real football culture for 10 days was a once in a lifetime opportunity and experience for us.
Really cool, really cool. And, you had a tweet, I think, when you guys were on the way to the airport. It was one of your players under the bus had like a roll of toilet paper hanging out the side of his bag. Did you ever get to the bottom of that, Mac? It's been bothering me for about 2 months.
It's one of our crazy Canadians, right? Like, it's still, at the end of the day, I won't mention his name, but...
Okay.
We learned a lot about ourselves. We had 2 players. We had an athletic trainer who'd never left the country, never been outside the country. So we really we made some probably some guys feel uncomfortable in a good way. But it was it just a great 10 days to spend time with each other in that was, as I said, a celebration, but it was also a great way for us to segue in and start preparations for our full season.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Hey, this stuff doesn't stop. You're getting ready for another year. Obviously, you'll be an extremely marked team coming off the national championship. Well, what's it been like for you and your staff out on the recruiting trail? Obviously, the transfer portal is big when it comes to all sports now, for sure. What kind of reception did you guys notice you got this year? The same, different than you guys got out there before?
Look, it's certainly nice to be. If someone picks up the phone and the Syracuse coach it's nice to have won a national championship. Now we've got a lot of turnover. 9 players that played in that national championship game are no longer with us. So it was, and there's an advantage by keep playing until the mid-December, but you're a little bit behind. Now, having said that, the reception's been good, and we like the group that we've assembled. the transfer portal is it gives and it takes away, but I think we've done a pretty good job. It at times feels a little bit like speed dating, but it's important to get the right, not just talent, but the right fit for our program. And we managed to bring in 5 guys in January, and a total of, we're going to be up to 12 transfers. So it will be a transfer heavy team. But there's, not just talent, but players and student athletes are a good fit for us and want to be part of what we're trying to do here. And can we continue to move forward? Can we continue to evolve as a team and build something really special here?
Yeah, obviously transfers they've been a huge part of your team for a while. It's just the nature of the beast these days. But your 2 leading scorers in Opoku and Johnson, they were 1 in and 1 out last year. How long, when you have a group like this, does it take you, as a coach, as a team, to figure out what you got? I mean, you can't possibly know day one what you got, what you're tossing on the field.
And I think it's been nice to get some of the guys in and even a little bit of training before we went to England. So that was, one of the advantages of going on the international tour. We had to wait for finals to finish up, but to get a chance to train with 4 of the new guys was great, in addition to the guys we brought in January. But yeah, if it's... I'm not sure every year you can bring in a Levante Johnson, a first-team All-American, and a Nate Opoku, a third-team All-American, who is the first ever player to be signed directly from the NCAA to a Premier League team. But what we have learned, Brian, is trying, again with an underclassman, 9 of the last 10 years, we've lost our best young player early to Major League Soccer or to the pros. So I think we're learning to try to be a little bit more proactive and not be as reactionary. And I think that has helped us when it comes to the portal, and just thinking about, and maybe not specifically players, but what we're looking for as a student athlete, as a player, positional, and then trying to, ensure that they're a good fit for us both on the pitch as well as off the pitch.
I'd say you mentioned that run of guys. I mean, it's more than a decade now, basically. You're losing guys early to the draft, which is, it's a problem, but it's a good problem to have, because it meant you had some good guys. One of them going back, and you'd love to get other guys like him, is Miles Robinson. Just saw he got named to another Gold Cup roster yesterday, coming back from the injury that cost him the World Cup. That's got to be really cool for you to see a guy like Miles continually getting named to national teams. Well,
when you talk about the GA, it started with Alex Bono, who we actually managed to have lunch with in DC. So that was another part of the trip. He's playing with DC United, Wayne Rooney's, who's the manager down there. But last night was a full. We had Miles playing for the US. That's the 4th time, he's beaten Mexico in the last few years and not conceded a goal. I thought he was immense in the game, and now as a result of that, he wins, and the US plays on Sunday against Canada, and we had Kamal Miller and Tajon Buchanan both started in Canada, beating Panama. So it was another proud moment to watch some of our former players competing for their national teams, and now in Vegas, that'll be for a championship on the line on Sunday. It's going to be a big match, and I know a lot of our fans, a lot of our supporters will be glued and probably torn a little bit about who they're cheering on. But it'll be really fun to watch the game on Sunday.
Yeah, I recall in the World Cup, Mac, when we talked, you watched U.S. England in total secrecy, so nobody could see who you were rooting for. Can you root for America in this one, or do Tajon and Kamal sway you here? Do you have to be Switzerland to be impartial in this one?
This is a tough one. When Canada plays the U.S., it's a bit of a lose-lose. But someone has to win this game, because there's a trophy on line. Right. So maybe a score draw. Maybe a Tajon goal. Both Kamal and Miles play well. Everyone scores in the penalty shootout, and then we can blame it on someone else.
Oh, hey, that's a good way to do it. I like your plan. Just push it down the line and let somebody else screw it up. So it's none of the Cuse guys. All right, Mac, you get any time off this summer? I mean, it sounds like it's been go, go, go for the last 6 months since the title. You get a little minute before you hop back into it, getting ready for this season?
I've got the early morning flight tomorrow. We're on the road to Dallas recruiting. So when you're looking at the news and they're saying the heat index is 115 in Dallas, think of the coaching staff out there trying to apply as much sunscreen as possible. And then we've got some camp. This is a fun time of year. Like we get a chance to work with our local community kids. Our junior orange soccer camp comes up. These are the fun parts, but with a little bit of recruiting. And then I don't get invited to the family vacations anymore. They don't want any part of me before preseason.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of how it goes this time of year, huh, Mac? All right, well, always great to catch up. Best of luck going forward. Maybe wear a hat down in Dallas. I don't know the best way to go back 115, but thanks for hopping on for a few.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.